1, okay? So, if we're talking about writing them in order of smallest to greatest, is the 1 going to be greater or less than the 0? You told me just now it's bigger, right? So it's going to be greater. So as we're numbering as we're ordering our numbers, that 0 is going to come before that 1, right? So we're going to need to put the -4, then the -2, then the 0, then the 1. And last but not least, Tamika, pick us up. What number are we missing? Of our original numbers, what's left?
3.
The 3. Where do you want the 3?
In the back of the positive side.
Good, on the positive side, all the farthest to the right, right? So as we write these, we can see, represented on our number line, the 3 is farthest to the right, so it's going to go last, right? We clear on that? Okay, that -4 is farthest to the right, so it's going to go first. And then we just have to look and arrange. So the order on the number line is the same order that you're going to write from least to greatest. If it asks you to write these integers in order from the least to the greatest, you're going to go from the left of the number line to the right. Okay? We're good on that? Alright, alright. Arrange the following numbers in order from least to greatest. We're on example 2.2 at the bottom of page 7. 465. Damon, will you read those numbers to me? 465, what's next?
5, 4. And 5, 4, 6. And make 4, 5, 6. And 5, 4, 4. 6, 4.
6, 4, 5, 6, 4?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. We just won't be able to plot these numbers on the number line, right? Because there's no point in drawing our number line all the way to -546 and drawing our number line all the way up to, what's the biggest one? Come on, what's the biggest one up there? Biggest number up here in DC.
3.
Good, 654. So we know that this one is the biggest. And which one's the smallest, did we say? PreA, which one's the smallest? Which one's going to be farthest to the left on the number line?
Negative.
The negative, exactly. So we'll give it the small and the big, okay?
Miss Rawson,
Yes.
hate to bother you. In moving all this and shifting all, did you happen to see like a little black, like a router box?
There
that there
was
would
a
be
black
several?
box that
Do you remember
was...
where we would have seen it or put it?
It is somewhere over
He
there.
said he's been through
probably.
all this, okay. We'll look
Okay,
through it.
if it is what I'm thinking about, then that then it would be over there.
About
but-
maybe that long.
I don't know if it was that
It
long
had a
then.
bunch of ports to plug in your cables. It's
No.
not this little one.
Okay, then I don't think we did ever see that.
Okay,
I could be wrong though.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, sorry.
locate it.
Alright, so biggest, farthest which direction, left or right? It's the biggest number. Farthest left or right? No,
The right.
biggest number. Or Shay's getting mad at me. The right, the right, the right. Good. So we know that that number is going to be last, right? On our ordering. And what number do we say is going to be first? The smallest one, right?
The negative.
The negative. Good. 546. So now we need to figure out the in-between, right? So for the in-between, we've taken care of this one. We've taken care of this one. We've got 3 left. Which one of those is next in our sequence if we're going from least to greatest? Destiny's up. Which one's next, Destiny? 456. Why did you choose that one? Why not this 400?
Because that's greatest.
Good. So we're going to look at the numbers. You guys know that part. So the 4's matched, but the next number, that 5 is smaller than our 6, right? So that is going to be the next smallest number. Beautiful. What comes next, Mika? What's next smallest? Take care of this one. What's next? We've got 2 left, right? We had our 465 we haven't used. We used our 654. Over here we know it's the biggest. Our negative 546 we used, we know it's our smallest. Destiny just told us 456 comes next and we have 564. So we either need to use our 564 or our 465 and we're going from least to greatest. So what's going to come next? Beautiful. 465. And next, Damon, last but not least.
5, 64.
Beautiful. So you guys often use the rounded form of a number. And we round because some numbers, such as multiples of 10 and 100, are easier to say and to think about than others, right? I would much rather talk about 100, 200, 300 than 47, or you round up from 47 to 50, than talk about 99, right? Round up to 100. You guys ever do that in the store? If you're grocery shopping or looking for clothes, and an item costs $4.99, what do you do in your head? $5. So make that into $5, okay? So that's what we're going to do, is just apply our math to our book, okay? So, the distance to a barn is 209 yards. A farmer might say that it is about 200 yards to the barn, right? That farmer doesn't need to be nitpicky. It doesn't really matter that it's 209 yards instead of him saying it's about 200 yards, right? So we can talk in generalizations. If we were to talk about the number of students at Bright Futures, what would you maybe say about how many students are at Bright Futures? What do you think, Damon? How many students are at Bright Futures? About how many? Let's talk about just the school. At just Bright Futures Academy. About how many students? Okay, if we're about, I want an exact number. I want you to tell me about how many.
About 20.
Is your name Damon?
Yeah. About 20.
Damon. About 20? Okay, I'll give that to you. That's what I would say too. If I were to ask you about how many students were at the Bright Futures after school program and over the summer, what would you tell me? Tamika? About 40, okay? So, more than 23 or 24, right? Closer maybe to like the 36, 37, but we're going to round up to 40, because it's way easier to talk about 40 than every time to tell somebody, oh, there are 27 people that are, do this or that. Just say about 30, right? Just make everybody's life easier, okay? Beautiful, beautiful. So, on the number line though, we can't round to 09. We're just going to have to kind of put it in its spot and look and see which ones it's closer to. So that's what the number line is also good for, is for helping us look at and visualize rounding, okay? I need eyes on books or eyes on me, okay? So, let's look at 2.3, and we'll kind of go back from there, okay? I want us to have an example and work from there. So example 2.3 tells us to round 471,326. Portia, what's the rest? 471,326. 502. All right, and it tells us to round to what?
They want you to round to the nearest 10.
The nearest, careful, 10,000.
Down.
Okay, so we want to round to the 10,000 spot. So let's figure out what digit is in that 10,000 spot right now. Which digit? Damon, let's look up here. Let's figure out what digit we've got in our 10,000 spot. Tamika, which digit? A 2. I do agree. So we've got this 2 here, okay? So the way that this book wants us to do it, and we can practice doing it, is we're going to circle the number that we want to keep, and that we want to have a number in and round, and we're going to draw an arrow to the one behind, okay, to figure out if that 2 is going to stay the same or go up, right? Because if the number after it is what? Or above? 5 or above, okay? Then that what happens to the number in front of it?
The number go up.
Number goes up. Good. Okay, so 471, everything else stays the same, right? 3. The only thing that's going to change is starting at our circled number. So what is going to happen to my circled number in this case? Portia, I need your eyes up here. Go ahead, Jamaica. To a 3. Good. And what happens after I put that 3 there to all the rest of those numbers? Zeros. I can fill in. Do I need just 1 0?
No.
I need to make sure, right, Jamaica, that I've got a 0 in every spot that I used to have a number in, right? That's very important. If a decimal comes into play, okay, we know that that's still an assumed decimal, right? So we only need to fill in our zeros up until our decimal, okay? We don't want any more, because that would completely change our number, right? And we can't have any less, because again, it would change our number. Those zeros are holding those places for us. That 0 we know is in the 1 spot, so that this 3 can stay in the 10,000 spot, right? numbers. For
We
example,
still need a
2.4.
number line.
We don't still need it. You wanna get rid of it? Give me more space. Alright, go for it, Destiny.
8, 3, comma, 7, 5, 2, comma, 9, 1, 4, comma, 6, 2, 5.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Who would like to take a stab at naming that number for me? Who can say this number for me? Jamaica?
83,752,625.
Perfect.
752,914,625.
Perfect. Awesome. Any questions on that? Alright, and when we actually write that out, right, we still gotta put our commas in, and we're gonna hyphenate any of these, right? Does 14 need a hyphen? Nope. 25 we would hyphen, right? So we need our commas and we need our hyphens. Okay, good. So now, it's telling us to round to what spot, Damon? Alright, so it's the nearest 10 million. So which one of those is the digit that we need to look at in order to round to the nearest 10 million? The 5. This one? No. This one. Alright, so you want me to do that 5, Portia? What do you want me to do to it? I want to round it. What do you want me to do to it first?
5 more, go up every side. 4 less, go down.
Okay, so what I want to see, we want to, there we go, we want to circle the number we actually want to round. Alright, and then what do we do with the next one? Destiny, you remember? We put an arrow. Good, we need to look at the 2. So the arrow is the one we want to look at. We're drawing our attention to the one we want to look at. So, Portia told us if it's 5 or more, it goes up. If it's 4 or less, it goes down. So what happens to this 5? What happens to it? See some hands. Destiny? Stays the same because of the 2, right? So we know that everything else goes in. I put what next?
5.
A 5, good. Stays the same. Then what?
0, 0, 0, 0.
How many zeros? Just give me a number.
6, yeah. 7.
7. Make sure we've got these 3, right? These 3, those are easy enough. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But don't forget about that 2 that you drew that arrow to, right? He's still a spot. When we're rounding, we've got the number we wanted to place it around to. We need to make sure we've got a 0 filling in everything else. Okay? Any questions on that?
But
You guys, oh, go
I
ahead.
don't have a question, but it's what you said. Once you said that person can say if it's 5 or more, it goes up, and if it's 4 less, it goes down.
Yep.
But I know the whole number goes down, but the number, like with the arrow on it, doesn't. It just, it does, but
Stays the same.
yeah.
Is that, I did say goes down. Thank you for correcting that. So yes, because it's a 2, it stays the same. So I should use the word same or
Yes.
up, right?
The little thing is
Down is never an option, right? If we're rounding, unless I told you to round to the nearest 10, right? And I told you 27, what would you tell me? Essentially then you're rounding down, right? 27 rounded to the nearest 10 spot. Sorry, wrong one. 24 rounded to the nearest 10 is what?
20.
20. Good. So 20 is down from 24, right? But that 2 can never go, the number itself can never go down. Okay? Is that clear? I think you guys know how to round. I just want to make sure we put the right words to it. So thanks for calling the attention to that. Any questions on that? Like I said, you think you guys got this. So this number is never going to go down as far as a digit is concerned, but we are rounding down. Okay? Yes? Alright, alright. That brings us to the end of that lesson, so go ahead and do your practice, A through D. And then I will clear you, and you are free to start on your homework.